Hi guys, and welcome to the next episode of the Meant for More Mindset with me, Yar, and
me, Dion.
So today we're going to be talking about advocating for yourself and the importance of advocating for yourself. So definitely in the last year, it's something that I've really been touching upon, but in my work and also for myself, and really recognizing it in all areas, the importance of really, advocating for yourself, speaking up for yourself and saying what you need when you need it, and not always being the person to be like, oh no, that's okay. Or, hoping and praying that somebody will see what you need, but actually not just asking for it, but really making it a requirement as and when you need to. So, one of the, things, I'll start off with an example. So an example of just a really simple example happened the other day at work. So there is a lady that I work with, and she just feels the need to reinvent the wheel a lot. Things that that work fine, systems that work fine, she will then decide that she, for whatever reason, so we could be doing the same thing year on year and year, but this year she's decided that she wants to do things slightly differently. So now, me, before, not wanting to be confrontational, would just kind of let it slide off, think to myself, oh my gosh, how am I going to say this? What I did was just kind of say to her plain, you keep doing this, I fixed it, stop doing it, please. And she then said to me, what did she say? She said, oh no, but surely it should be this way. And I said, no, it shouldn't be this way, because what you're saying makes no sense. But it shouldn't be this way because this is not historically how we have done it. And then also, you're trying to bring things from the future, take things into the future when they actually should be now. So you're dating things ahead that you don't need to date ahead. Just keep them as they are. And then she just said, thanks for confirming. Whether she likes it or not, I don't know. I don't really care. But it's what I've realized is the importance of, it goes back to the importance of being able to advocate for yourself and knowing what it is that you need. Because by somebody coming in, she's basically coming in and saying, this is what I want to do. And so because she has that kind of energy, a lot of people just kind of go with it because it's just kind of easier to go with than not. But what I've realized is actually when you go with that, you end up being very resentful of those people, and you end up disliking those people a lot, because actually they're doing something that you probably want to do. They're actually saying what it is that they want. And because they're so used to getting it, they're not afraid to say it. And so therefore I am learning to do the same. Not even, sorry, I was making it third person. No. I must learn to do the same, as must we all.
Yeah.
Because once you do that, it sends a message to you, not only to yourself, but also to others. This is who I am. This is how I'm showing up. And these are the things that I need in order for you to engage with me at a level that works for everybody, not just you, not just me, but for everybody. And so it's really, really important, I think, to be able to advocate for yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable. And I will say this again, and I think this is what people think when it comes to self-development, is that it looks easy, or, once you get the confidence, you'll do it. And it's like, none of it's easy. Just do it. Because in the beginning, because you're relearning things, or not even relearning things, learning things for the first time that will make your life better, but feel very uncomfortable to do, because you've never done it before, so you don't really know what the outcome is. And the first time you do it, it may be, the way you may speak to somebody may be in a sharp way, the way you may it may come across like you're being blunt to somebody, and you're not being blunt. What you're doing is just saying how you feel and just expressing what it is that you want. And especially if you're somebody who hasn't been allowed to advocate for yourself, again, going back to childhood, within childhood, then as an adult, you find it very uncomfortable. But then you resent people who do.
Yeah.
Because they don't find it uncomfortable, and it's almost like you wish that they could get it. But one, they're not my reasons, and two, they're not going to get it for you because they're busy getting it for themselves.
Yeah.
So you must do the same. And no matter how uncomfortable it is, it's really important that you say to yourself, okay, what is sometimes the little trick that I like to play with myself sometimes when I'm finding it hard is, especially in the beginning, was, okay, the alternative of this is, if I don't say anything, I kind of do the timeline of what happens if I don't do it. And it leads nowhere positive. So because it leads nowhere positive, I'm recognizing the importance of just speaking up for yourself. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So has there been a point where you've not advocated for yourself and you've seen the repercussions of it, as opposed to now where you do advocate for yourself more?
Yes. Okay. So in my finance job, because I work part-time in a museum as a finance assistant, there was one point where I was pretty much qualified to do a job, but because I was part-time, the job was kind of advertised as full-time, and I didn't want to go full-time because I was still working on my counselling practice. And my boss was like, oh, there's this role and you're qualified for it, but because you're part-time, I need you to go to full-time to so that we can promote you. And I said, I would like to have that role, but because of my commitments outside of work, I can't go full-time. And she said, okay, fine. Not knowing they were finding it hard to recruit for a full-time role. So they ended up going for a part-time role, but forgot to inform me that that was the case. So when the new person started and they started part-time, that was the first time I had heard that it was part-time.
Yeah.
And so that same day I found out, I asked my boss, can we have a quick meeting, please? And I went into the room with her and I said, I'm not sure what miscommunication we've had, but this is not what I was expecting. If the role was part-time, I was expecting for you to inform me it had gone part-time so that we could have this conversation. And she was a bit shocked because prior to this, I'd always been passive about anything that came up. I'd just be like, it's fine, I'll do it, fine. But at this point, I decided it's not work. This passiveness is not working for me anymore. So I need to be a little bit more assertive. I wasn't rude. I wasn't coming at her. It was just, this is how I feel about the situation. I know that at this point we can't correct anything now, but I'm letting you know how I feel so that you understand the situation that we're working in. She apologized. Everything got squashed. Everything was fine. But before then, it was always me being passive about things, me saying, it's fine. And when you say it's fine, you start to build this resentment, which it did at some points, because there's other points in the working environment where I had to let her know, this is not working. We keep having this issue between us because we're not communicating properly. And if we hadn't communicated properly, things are going to affect the outer team, not just me and her. So we need to fix this. So having that conversation in that moment helped to resolve a lot of the issues that were going on within the team. To kind of bring it to a forefront of, if we are going through something, we have conversations about it. We don't just do what we think it needs to be done, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect the whole team. I understand you're pushed for time and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you do something, it's going to affect the team. Everyone's going to be affected. So it's better for you to communicate that you're doing something, even if you've made your mind up to do something. Being assertive in that place will help everyone understand this is where we're going. So I think the more you understand what your roles is, because I was very certain I cannot go full-time. That was my boundary. I'm staying part-time, and that was my boundary. And because I'd understood my boundary, being forced into full-time was not going to work. So she knew I've been clear on my boundaries, so I can't push her into doing what I want her to do, even though I know that would be best beneficial for me. So I think she was doing what was best for her.
Yeah.
I was doing what was best for me. And in the middle, we got to a point where what was best for her was probably just hiring me, because now that person's left.
Yeah.
And now...
So I was about to say, this sounds very passive aggressive.
Yeah. But this is the thing. When people are passive about their beliefs and their understandings, it becomes very...
As in, she was passive aggressive towards you.
Yeah. But if that's the whole point, if we're not very clear on what we need and very assertive on what we need, it becomes very passive, and that passiveness can turn into aggression.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the times we let things slide, and then sooner or later we get angry with the situation that we've been letting slide, and then become passive aggressive.
But then how did she let it slide though? Because I'm trying to understand, how did she let it slide when you've communicated to her that... How did she let it slide in that she'd communicated to you, I'd like you to go full time. You said no. And then they couldn't find anybody to go full time.
Yeah.
So they made the job a part-time role, but she had said to you, she saw you in the full-time position. So why wasn't the part-time position offered to you at that point?
Her excuse at the time was because she felt like it would be too much with me doing my practice as well, taking on the part-time. But I think it was just because she was angry that I didn't go full-time.
Yeah, that's what I mean, passive aggressive. Yeah.
So I think, and I was like, okay, fine. For me, I hadn't taken it personally, because at the end of the day, I believe what is for me will be for me.
Yes.
So for me, her behavior didn't affect the way I saw her. It didn't affect the way I saw the team. It didn't affect anything, because I was very strong in who I was. And I think when you have that understanding of who you are, regardless if someone's being passive to you or passive aggressive to you, you can get angry, but a lot of the time you don't even care, because it's just, well, this is what I stand for.
Yeah.
So because I stand for this, the fact that you're doing whatever you're doing and it doesn't align with what I stand for, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make me upset anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've trained myself to understand that I'm doing what's best for me.
Yes.
She's doing what's best for her.
Yeah.
Even if it coming off as passive aggressive towards me, I'm still okay with where I am.
Yeah.
I haven't gone against myself and now feeling that aggression towards me, because I'm staying where I am. So whatever happened, I was upset in the moment not getting the job at that time. And I let her know how I felt, because I was being assertive in that moment. So it counterbalanced the resentment that I had, because I was just being assertive in where I was. And that was it, end of story. And I squashed it. But I think sometimes, because in that situation in itself, someone might see that as, oh, she's walking all over you. But for me, I was like, no, like, because she didn't give it to me in that point, and I've told her how I felt. She understands how I felt, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't need her to do anything else. She apologized, and it was squashed from then on. But for some people, if you're taking it personally, then there's something you need to look within yourself. It's not what the person's doing to you that you need to react to all the time. There's certain things you can be strong in who you are and understand that things are happening around you that you can't control.
Yes.
So because I can't control how she's feeling, I'm just going to focus on how I'm feeling and focus on how I'm dealing with this situation, rather than being so caught up in, oh, she did this to me and she did that to me. I don't care at this point what she's done to me. At the end of the day, I knew what my standards was. I communicated my standards. I did the best that I could in that situation to explain to her where I was. And if she did not get it, it's fine. Like, I can't control how she receives the message I'm giving her.
Yeah.
All I can control is how clearly I give that message.
Yeah, and I think what you said there is so important in terms of when it comes to advocating for yourself, knowing what you stand for. And I think that's where a lot of people trip themselves up. They don't know what they stand for. So because they're unclear of that, that's where their boundaries get shaky. And because their boundaries get shaky, then therefore they're not able to advocate them for themselves in a way that makes them feel confident. Because especially in the beginning, when you're still trying to figure things out, like, does this really work, or does this work, or should I say this, or shouldn't I say that? And it's okay to have people read your emails. It's okay. When I say read your emails, I mean as in send, like, if you want to communicate somebody you're not sure about how to do it, send it to a friend to read beforehand.
How do I word this?
Yeah.
Tell me how this sounds.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then it's also okay to role play with friends as well. It's okay to think about, okay, when it happens in that moment, something may happen once with somebody and you realize that you didn't like the way it went down. So then you realize, okay, if should this happen again, I'm going to be ready with X, Y, to do X, Y, and Z next time. And it's all of these things are just building up your toolkit, your arsenal, if you will, to be able to be more confident in being able to advocate for yourself. And in doing that, you get to a place where you actually are compassionate towards people, and you don't feel angry when they do nonsense, because you understand that the nonsense isn't about me.
Yeah.
The nonsense ain't about me. The nonsense is maybe a little bit of a hater. You know, and that's okay. That's really, really, really okay to understand that. But as long as you're advocating for yourself, you don't allow those things to keep you down. You may have your moments because you're human, but you don't allow those things because you remember who the F you are.
Yeah.
You really do. And you're just like, well,
you're the BB.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. My favorite one is the head BIC.
Yeah.
And so because of that, it then allows you to be able to walk in spaces with a confidence that actually attracts the kind of energy that you want attracted to you, and almost those people they become insignificant.
Yeah. And even like building up tools, like sending that email to a friend or using family and friends to kind of role play. I have one friend who, like, before I met her, I never knew this was a thing, but she tells me it's a thing. And she says that, like, she has arguments in the shower with herself about things that have happened that she wanted to, like, practice. So just having conversations in the bathroom or in the mirror, just expressing yourself how you would like to be expressing yourself, and just getting that out of the way, so that you build that confidence in just having those conversations, even if no one's talking back at you. The fact that you now have the words or the expressions that you would like to use when you have that kind of conversation again, to kind of help you have those conversations, is also a good tool to use.
It's sharpening your tools, isn't it? And she's right, it is a thing, because I do too. But yeah, with that, guys, we're going to end this one here. So don't forget that it's really important to advocate for yourself and really go after what it is that you want and need for yourself, because if you don't do it for you, no one will. So if not you, who? If not when? If not now, when? I got there in the end. And we shall see you in the next one. So don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Take care. Bye.
Bye, guys. That was a good one.
That is. That was. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. For more about me, what I do, check out my website, nextlevelcoachinggroup.com, where you can also download my free Release Your Mindset Blocks guide. You can also follow me on Instagram at Next Level Coaching Group or on Facebook at Next Level Lounge. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a rating and review. Thanks. See you on the next one.